constants for you, right?
UI are constant. The variable is
So as far as I understand is that this UI values basically takes care of the scheduling, right? With this earliest deadline first, right? So this UI values you are not really optimizing. They are
variables.
they are given to you. They are constants. So based on these constants, you are basically solving the allocation problem. Am I right? Well, under scheduling, how the scheduling?
Because it's implicit with these constraints. Okay, these constraints correspond that on each processor, all tasks on each processor will meet their deadlines. So if you add these constraints to the whole model, and if you find an optimal solution, you will find an optimal solution for the allocation and for the scheduling. With EDF on each processor.
Okay, now EDF, as far as I may be wrong, but just correct me. So EDF is polynomial time solvable for a single processor, right? So my question is that suppose you have n many processors, right? So how many possible allocations are possible for, say, a fixed number of tasks?
If you have n processors and n tasks, there are 2 to the n by n combinations.
Suppose there are 2 processors, say, and we have n many tasks. So then how many allocations are possible in total? Isn't it of the order of n squared?
2 to the 2n total combinations, because you can say, well, I'll assign one task to a processor and the other tasks I won't assign at all.
Yeah.
So
that would give me n choose too many things, right? Not 2 to the n. That would give me n choose too many total number of partitions possible.
Total number of partitions
would be n choose 2, right? This must be same as. Am I right? No, I'm wrong. No, it's not.
I don't know.
No, I'm wrong. I'm wrong, because I was thinking, but well, if your number of processors is constant, say, so over here it's sort of a constant. You are testing on 4 processors or 6 processors. So then there should be a polynomial time algorithm to do that. Means just you take the total number of possible allocations and check the EDF for the single processor systems on all the processors. So that would give you a polynomial time algorithm. Well, here the number of processors is a parameter, it's not a size. So will this be a trivial solution to this problem?
I don't think so.
Why?
What you say is first to solve the allocation problem only, and then to test the scheduling by EDF on each processor. But I think it's the same work or more, because you won't find the optimal at first.
No, I have to try all. Means I'm not going to get it in a one go. But my question is that if you take the number of processors as a constant, then this would be a polynomial time solution.
Well, maybe, but we did the model for.
No, I'm not criticizing your model. I'm just trying to understand.
Maybe that would be a solution, but I don't know if it would be polynomial, because the allocation problem is NP hard for any size of processor.
No, that's the fault. It grows with the number of processors, right? So I'm telling that when you fix the number of processors, so your processors is a constant, right? Well, it may be a huge constant that comes up in your thing. So if you are seeing the running time where sort of a parameterized complexity, where your number of processors is a parameter. So then does this turn out to have a polynomial time solution? I don't know. That's what my question was.
You should see it.
It's the number of permutation between n tasks and n processor.
Yeah, but m is constant. My m is constant, so m is small. So it would be of the order of, some m, say, if my m is 2, it would be of the order of n square, I think, right? Or maybe, I'm not sure.
But I can see, I will see that.
No, okay, well,
Because
this is just a wild
I
idea.
didn't
It's
think
not-
of it really.
Yeah, and good. So did you run? Means there are, I think, some commercially available packages which solve integer programs.
Yes.
So did you try any of them?
I tried a GLPK package,
Mhm.
the GNU,
Mhm.
but I had some problems with some functions for certain cases that it just got stuck, and I didn't know why, and it gave me some errors. I don't know where they came from, and also if you, well, for practical applications, if you are going to build this operating system from the scratch, and you have to implement this on a scheduler, you cannot use any package of any sort. You have to do your own things by hand.
Okay, that's all.
Luis,
Only one question. For example, can you say one example of where you can see a practical application of this method?
Well, if you have a critical hard time system, if this, with this you will obtain an optimal solution, and maybe with a heuristic will tell you, no, this task set is not schedulable, and with this exact method you obtain that the task set is indeed schedulable, so you gain the optimal allocation and you wouldn't waste any resources just because.
So, for example, if you are designing a car, and the car have a computer with 4 processors, what do you prefer? To use approximated algorithms that say...
I know an exact method, because the car, I don't know, if you have a real-time system working on a car, it's critical. It could, the lives of the persons that go on that car could be in danger if some heuristics fail.
Or, for example, an heuristic say that it does not fail, but you need more processors per car.
Then you have to buy more processors, and it wasn't necessary because the task set was really schedulable.
okay. I just want to emphasize or point out some of the questions that the professors made. First, Oliver asked about genetic algorithms and why they cannot be used to solve this kind of problems. Indeed, they can be used. They can, in fact, approximate or generate exact solutions. Okay, it depends on the time you have to run those algorithms. Usually, in real-time community, we tend not to use those kind of algorithms simply because the execution time for those algorithms is unpredictable. You really don't know how long it's going to take. Okay, if you run twice the same experiment with the same variables and everything, using genetic algorithms, in the first experiment you're gonna, I don't know, end up with 15 minutes, and in the second algorithm, in the second instance, in the second test, you're gonna end up with 11 minutes. So that difference it makes the use of genetic algorithms not suitable for real-time systems, because here we look for predictability in execution times of everything. Now, one thing here is that what is better to use, an exact or an approximate solution? And that has to do also with what are you using. If you are using an online or an offline algorithm. If you are using just an algorithm, an offline approach, you can use whatever you want. If you have 2 or 3 days to make computations or analysis, it's fine with it. Okay? You can use whatever you want. Of course, you want to use the most efficient, the fastest one, and the one that is predictable. Because at the long term, perhaps you want to use this for offline. That means that in the future you have new tasks arriving to the systems, okay, continuously. And then each time a new task arrives, you want to run this test. So you would like to test one thing, predictable, and second, as fast as possible. Those two things. Okay? So here is the trade-off between exact and approximate and online and offline. So you have here our aim was to generate an exact algorithm because nobody has done this before. Okay, some people like Barua actually model this problem in a different way, but they model it. But they didn't, they just said you can use MATLAB to generate solutions and that's it. But they didn't went into further tests on what happened. Okay, and you need to do that to understand what is the complexity of the whole problem. You need to go further than that. Another thing that was a question of Oliver is about CI, the computation time. Of course, usually for hard real-time systems, when you need to meet all the deadlines, you have to assume that you have a worst-case execution time. That's it. It doesn't matter if in some instance executes for much less than that. And if that happens in practice, of course. But for hard real-time solutions, you have to necessarily include the upper bound in the computation time. That's it. If you were to analyze not only maximum execution time but minimum execution time, you have to include another kind of tests different than this. For instance, for sub-real-time systems or for flexible real-time systems in which execution times or periods vary with time. So you need another kind of assumptions to model that kind of problem, which is completely different than this.
Okay, one more comment just. So have you looked into real approximation algorithms? Approximation algorithms, I'm not talking of heuristics. I'm talking of a real approximation algorithm. You must be knowing that there are approximation algorithms which can give you, say, a guaranteed approximation. That you will have an approximate solution which would be far from the real solution by this much. You have a guarantee on that, and you also have a guarantee on the running time, that this will run in this much of time. So are there such kind of algorithms which can be applied here?
For real time?
No, for this specific problem.
To find the, well,
I'm just asking you whether you know of anything of that.
Take that answer from the approximation algorithm and run it with this as that for initial solution to see. I think it will take much less time than if you run it from.
No, my question is, does there such approximation algorithm exist for this allocation problem?
Yes. And real time in general, there are approximation algorithms.
But they are guaranteed approximation algorithms, not heuristics.
You see, I want a solution with that you said that much far from the optimum. Yes, that exists.
And those solutions will not help in the real-time scenario?
Yes, of course, but not but hard real-time. It depends what are you using. If you are using soft real-time, you can say, I'm going to lose some of the deadlines. I'm allowed, because the system allowed me to lose 10% of the deadlines. Okay, so I go with approximate solutions in which I am losing 10% of the deadlines, and that's it. I use that heuristics. And in fact, that's one of the things that we want to study on her PhD.
That's